Solitude differs from loneliness, and enjoying being alone does not automatically mean someone is unhappy, antisocial, or disconnected. Loneliness is the pain of missing connection, while solitude can be a chosen state that brings peace, clarity, and balance. Some people hear about a party and start looking for a reason to stay home, not because they dislike people, but because quiet gives them something company cannot provide. Being alone describes a person's surroundings. Loneliness describes the connection they feel is missing. Someone can spend an evening alone and still feel complete and calm. Another person can sit in a crowded room and feel invisible. The difference depends on choice, safety, and available relationships. Enjoying solitude does not automatically mean depression, social anxiety, or hostility toward others. Sometimes, it simply means a person feels comfortable in their own presence. Subscribe to Thalvin Psychology to understand the hidden psychology behind everyday behavior. Healthy solitude is a choice, not an escape from pain or vulnerability. What matters is not how many hours someone spends alone, but why they choose that space. Chosen solitude often brings autonomy, recovery, and clearer thinking. Defensive isolation may look similar, yet it can grow from fear of rejection, judgment, betrayal, or disappointment. One person steps away to recharge and later returns feeling calmer and more open. Another withdraws because closeness feels dangerous and distance feels easier to control. The useful question is what happens afterward. Do they feel restored, grounded, and ready to reconnect? Or do they feel detached, guarded, and afraid of being known? Healthy solitude feels like returning to yourself. Avoidance feels like disappearing before anyone can hurt you. Neither response makes someone broken, but understanding the motive can reveal whether solitude is healing or hiding. Some people who enjoy solitude may reach their level of stimulation faster than those around them. Noise, crowded rooms, conversation, and social demands can become exhausting sooner. This does not mean they lack social skills or dislike people. Their nervous system may simply need less stimulation to feel engaged and alert. A short gathering can provide enough energy and interaction for the day. Someone else may need an entire evening to reach that same level. They may not dislike stimulation. They may simply reach their limit sooner than the people around them. Time alone allows the mind and body to reduce sensory load, process experiences, and return to balance. After resting, they may become more patient, focused, and available. The healthiest response is not avoiding every social situation. It is recognizing personal limits and choosing enough quiet to recover without completely disconnecting from meaningful relationships. Time alone gives people space to hear thoughts and emotions that are buried beneath constant interaction. Without the pressure to respond, they can notice what they feel, what they need, and what truly matters. Solitude can help organize experiences that were never processed. It creates distance between emotion and reaction, allowing a person to pause before deciding what to do. Silence gives them time to understand what they felt before deciding how to respond. But self-reflection is not the same as rumination. Reflection looks for meaning, perspective, and a next step. Rumination repeats the same painful thoughts without movement or resolution. Healthy solitude leaves someone clearer, calmer, and more connected to themselves. Unhealthy overthinking can leave them trapped inside the same emotional loop. The goal is not endless isolation. It is using quiet intentionally, so inner awareness becomes guidance rather than another source of distress. Quiet time can support creativity by giving the mind freedom from interruption. Some people use solitude to write, imagine, solve problems, or develop ideas that are harder to reach in crowded environments. When attention is not pulled away, they can stay with one question long enough to discover something deeper. Their mind is not empty when the room becomes quiet. That may be when the mind becomes most active. Creativity often depends on two different stages. People first gather ideas through experience, conversation, observation, and learning. Then they need space to connect ideas in their own way. Not everyone creates best alone. Some people think more clearly through collaboration and discussion before stepping back to reflect. The important point is that silence can provide room for concentration, imagination, and insight. Solitude does not guarantee ideas, but for some minds it creates the conditions ideas need. People who feel comfortable in solitude see themselves as complete without a partner beside them. They do not need another person to become whole. They may want love and companionship, but they do not expect one relationship to supply meaning, identity, and security. This is not arrogance, nor does it mean they believe they need no one. It means they can value connection without treating it as proof that their life matters. They may enter a relationship because they want to share life, not because they need someone to rescue them from emptiness. That sense of wholeness can reduce dependence and make closeness feel voluntary. They are less likely to cling because being alone feels unbearable. They want connection that adds to a life that already has meaning. In this form, it creates room for love without losing the self. Time alone can improve relationships by helping people return with more patience, energy, and balance. When someone is socially overloaded, even small requests can feel irritating or exhausting. They may become distant, impatient, or emotionally unavailable without intending to hurt anyone. A period of solitude can lower that pressure before tiredness turns into resentment. It gives them space to rest, process emotions, and recognize what they need. Time alone can help them return to people with more patience and less resentment. They may listen carefully, respond more honestly, and enjoy connection without feeling trapped. Healthy relationships also become stronger when one person is not expected to meet every emotional need. Friends, family, community, and personal reflection can each provide different forms of support. The important question is whether solitude helps them come back. Healthy solitude restores connection. Avoidant withdrawal uses distance as a reason to disappear whenever closeness becomes difficult. Some people value connection, but they do not want to be constantly available. They may love friends and family while needing control over when they respond, join, or show up. They may not want less connection. They may want connection without constant access. For them, autonomy protects the quality of their attention. When they choose to engage, they prefer honest conversations over small talk. Distance is not always rejection. Sometimes it is how they conserve energy so they can return with more patience and sincerity. Being reachable every moment can make connection feel like an obligation instead of a choice. Healthy boundaries allow closeness without pressure. They can care deeply and still need time that belongs only to them. The goal is not to disappear from relationships. It is to create enough space that connection remains meaningful, voluntary, and genuine. People who enjoy being alone are often judged by standards that treat social activity as proof of a life. Eating alone, watching a movie alone, or taking a walk alone can be seen as signs of failure, even when they feel peaceful. Sometimes, the discomfort does not belong to the person sitting alone. It belongs to the culture watching them. Different communities and spaces treat solo activities in different ways. In some places, being alone feels normal. In others, it can attract pity, suspicion, or unnecessary questions. That shame often comes from social expectations, not from the behavior itself. Choosing solitude does not automatically mean someone is lonely, rejected, or unable to connect. It may simply mean they are comfortable doing ordinary things without needing company to validate the experience. Healthy solitude should exist beside the ability to trust, connect, and receive support. Enjoying time alone can be peaceful, restorative, and emotionally healthy. But solitude becomes a problem when it turns into a shield against every form of closeness. A person should still be able to connect when connection feels safe and meaningful. They should have at least a few relationships where honesty, support, and vulnerability are possible. They can decline plans without avoiding every opportunity for intimacy. The healthiest solitude is not a wall against the world. It is a room someone can enter and leave freely. Solitude is a choice when the door can still open. Isolation becomes painful when fear keeps the door locked. Enjoying your own company is not a social failure. But true emotional independence also includes the ability to let safe people come close. If this helped you understand yourself or someone you care about, subscribe to Thalvin Psychology for more videos about the hidden psychology behind everyday behavior. Thank you for watching and supporting Thalvin Psychology. Please subscribe, and let's keep exploring the psychology deep within us together.